A very good morning from Tokyo Haneda International Airport. Today is a special day as I am traveling from Bangkok to New York on my 20th birthday. This year I have chosen to celebrate this special occasion on board Japan Airlines first class. Having landed from Bangkok at 7 AM, I made my way to the Japan Airlines first class lounge, which is JAL's only operating lounge during the pandemic. This means there could be a crowd given all the business class and Sapphire passengers who also have access to this space. Unlike its counterpart ANA, Japan Airlines first class lounge offers a sense of warmth upon entry, and this extraordinarily ornamented hallway is in every way emblematic of Japanese sophistication. The lounge itself is divided into a few areas surrounding the dining room, which is located in the center of the space. The hotel-y side of me immediately attached me to this wall full of glassware, though peculiarly the lounge didn't offer alcoholic beverages on the day of my visit. In this case, some Perrier will suffice my stomach's eager for some bubbly liquids later in the day. JAL uses mobile ordering for food service in the lounge, and this mobile order menu definitely has the top aesthetic I've seen at airports around the world. Shortly thereafter, the lounge manager along with her entourage presented to me the first surprise of the day, a freshly made sushi cake along with a meticulously handwritten birthday card. I mean, how thoughtful are they to even made a paper crane with an American flag for me. Having tried my best at devouring a plate full of sushi 8 AM in the morning, I decided to check out its provenance. The sushi bar had its own venue before COVID and is now temporarily stationed to another spot. Japan Airlines first class lounge purposefully curated individual spaces with contrasting styles, and I think I have just found my personal favourite, the Red Suite. The Red Suite is very similar to the concept of British Airways Concorde room, although the Concorde here is replaced by a Boeing 2707. The Red Suite features 4 function zones and the decor resembles an old-world opulence. Prior to the pandemic, the Red Suite used to offer shoe shining services supplied by John Lobb. In addition to that, the space also had a champagne lounge featuring Laurent Perrier Brut that was unfortunately a transparent glass away from reality. In the meantime, the breathtaking collection of every Av Geek's treasure will quench my thirst just fine. Now, I am not exaggerating when I say I want to take every single item from this room with me when I leave. After a 5 hours recess, let's embark on the final 6,000 miles journey from Tokyo to New York. Haneda International Airport became even more quiet since my last visit in January of 2022. The recent Russian airspace blockade made Japanese carriers' European flights unsustainable, and as of March 2022, Japan Airlines' only long haul from Haneda is to London, Sydney and the United States. The New York flight today is seeing a decent crowd in economy given the Southeast Asian countries reopening. As usual per Japanese standard, boarding was a breeze, but JAL does hire a lot of staff to facilitate the gate. Japan Airlines long-haul fleet operates exclusively on Boeing 777-300ER. Given US and Japan's cordial diplomatic relations, Japan Airlines also operates a Boeing fleet until taking a few domestic A350s a few years ago. Hello. Good morning. Yes. 1A, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Japan Airlines first class product is a legacy of its first class suite, launched back in 2008. The seat largely remained the same throughout the past decade, and while being well maintained as functionalities, does unfortunately trails behind competition. The highlight of flying with a Japanese carrier is certainly the Asian hospitality, and the crew on board today's flight is a delight to say the least. Few of the items placed at the seat are an Etro branded amenity kit, Shiseido men's skincare product, and a Panasonic noise cancelling headphone. Shortly after I finished my first glass of champagne, pushback commenced on time and we made a very brief taxi to runway 16 left. The wind today dictated our departure over the Tokyo Bay, and a slightly hazy horizon blindfolded us from seeing Mount Fuji. Having been blown away by ANA's catering from my recent flight, I have a very high expectation for Japan Airlines given its partnership with some of the world's most renowned Michelin-starred restaurants. Now, before we kick off the orchestra, I had some serious issue with the location of the power outlet. I had to lean forward to use my phone because I don't carry around a 2-meter cable. This is not something that should happen in 2022. Face is exactly how I felt after having sampled gastronomy from 3 restaurants with a combined total of 9 Michelin stars. Thank you so much for everything today. A special day in life is worthy of a special treatment. While the relentless COVID lockdowns in China has prevented me from celebrating this occasion with family, Japan Airlines' incredible hospitality and attention to detail had certainly evoked a sense of home 35,000 feet above the Pacific Ocean. The crew's spontaneous creativity of plating this birthday cake without an actual cake is a testament of the impeccable service culture in Asia. Having wrapped up a marvelous lunch, I took a walk to the galley, which featured Japanese landscape photography work scattered all over the wall. Towards the back of this Boeing 777 is my favorite business class hard product, the Apex Suite, which I reviewed in more detail in a separate video. Returning to the nose, it is a time to lower the window blind as I lay flat on Japan Airlines' fluffy soft mattress pad for the very last time before I turn 20. A new day, a new decade as we cross the international dateline into the North American dawn. Despite being a lifelong aviation enthusiast, I had never imagined celebrating my birthday on airplanes until when I turned 18 on board Singapore Airlines. COVID-19 is creating an irreversible impact on the aviation industry and a permanent scar in the memory of fellow avgeeks. But every second I dwell in the stratosphere is a therapeutic experience that galvanizes my mind as I relish the temporary retreat from the clamorous ground. Hopefully in the not very far future, I will be able to enter Japan quarantine-free again. Today's sunrise is definitely one of the most gorgeous I have witnessed so far in the stratosphere, very reflective of the special occasion today. It is genuinely the best in-flight entertainment one can hope for. Sharing the 8-seated cabin with one other passenger today is really making this into a private jet experience. Japan Airlines long-haul flight only offers one full meal after takeoff. There are no pre-designated arrival meal or breakfast, but passengers are instead to order from an a la carte menu whenever they wish. And that's exactly what I did after having my first tasting of the royal blue tea. If there is one thing JAL really needs to step up, it would be catering enough meals for passengers flying on an outrageously expensive ticket. In my case, the Japanese meal option was gone, even though there were only one other passenger. I ended up having one from business class, which I wouldn't have told the difference from, but it was nonetheless a frustration considering that ANA provides multiple portions of caviar even when there are only 2 passengers on board. We were over an hour away from the East Coast by the time I finished enjoying the delectable steak. With the 11 AM arrival into New York City, it is now the time to get ready for a full day's itinerary. A Jean Paul Evan branded chocolate box was handed out by the purser as the service for today's flight concludes. My first flight in Japan Airlines first class is what I expected it to be. A comfortable seat with world-class food and beverage, as well as unrivaled Japanese hospitality. I'm sure my birthday on board today's flight made the service an even more seamless one. As a lifetime Sapphire member with JAL, I do appreciate the airline's classy touch from the red suite to cabin crew's uniform, and on top of all the fanciness, the easy accessibility to JAL first class using Alaska Miles cements this product as one of the top choices when crossing the Pacific Ocean. It has been a pleasure and I can't wait for our next departure. Thank you for watching this Wandering Scholar video.